Hey everybody, welcome back. Another Gravity Ace stream. Alright. Man. It is Saturday, November 28th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. I hope everybody had a good holiday. If you're not in the US, maybe you didn't. It was Thanksgiving here. It was Thanksgiving here, and yeah, it was great. Ate a bunch, saw some people. All right. So, let me show you what I've been working on. So I took a short break. I did a game jam on Saturday, and I made this. Or rather, I started it on Saturday, and then continued working on it for a couple more days. Here we go. Continued working on it for a couple more days, just to see where I could take it. I was kind of thinking this might be a fun little, I don't know. There's this old game called Stun Runner that I was inspired by. And then it's kind of got some Tempest vibes too. Like if you can imagine, if you can imagine like some shooting going on in here. Maybe those are enemies. Obstacles you have to avoid, things you have to pick up. It's like avoid the red things, get the green things. There's a first person mode, which is, I think, more fun. So sort of a racing game, time attack, shooter thing. Anyway, all the code is on my GitHub if you're interested. I don't think I'm going to do anything with it, but it was fun to learn a little 3D and, you know, kind of just experiment a little bit. I haven't worked on a new prototype in a while because I've been working on Gravity Ace for so long, but I'm starting to think about prototypes for whatever the next game might be. So I'm just working through different ideas as they come to me. That's not what I'll be doing today, but yeah, it is something I'm actively doing right now. Because I want to be able to have, I think what I've decided is I want to have two projects going at once. And Gravity Ace is in a pretty good spot right now, and I feel like I have a little bit of bandwidth to start working on a little something extra. Let me see if I can paste that. I've got the code out there. I gotta figure out a better place to move this microphone. Here it is. Yeah, I mean, do whatever you want with it. It's MIT licensed. If you make something cool with it, let me know. All right, so today I'm gonna do some coding. So I've been setting up Nakama server, which is a, well, let me just show you. Nakama. It's a game server, and it provides a bunch of functions. Real-time social competitive game server. It's got leaderboards, it's got matchmaking, it's got lobbies, chat, push notifications, multiplayer, stats, a bunch of stuff. It's pretty expensive if you host it with them. Pretty expensive. This is monthly. But you can download it and install it yourself. Run it on your own server for free. So that's what I'm doing for now. So what I've implemented so far are the leaderboards. Where is it? Leaderboards. So the nice thing about this too is it comes with a Godot client. It's an add-on you download from the asset library. Makes it really easy to interface with the server code right from your game. So I'm implementing leaderboards, and I think what I'm going to do is just sort of flesh out that implementation a little bit more. What I've got going now is in the game over scene, I've created this singleton called game server, and at the, when you reach the game over scene, it submits a score with the current level, the rank that you got, the score that you got, and the time that you got, right? And then in the game server, where the heck is it? There it is. In the game server, it does all the Nakama stuff. So I call submit score, and what it does is it just makes sure, the Nakama client is configured, I'm logged in. It's one of the built-in levels that comes with the game. And then it saves the high score to this leaderboard. There's 4 leaderboards per level. Saves a score to the high score leaderboard, and then there's 3 time leaderboards depending on what rank you got. If you got an S, it saves it to the S time leaderboard. If you got an F, no rank, saves it to the no rank leaderboard, and any other rank, C, B, A, it saves it to the ranked leaderboard. So this way you can compare your S time with other people's S time, your no rank with other people's no rank, and your any rank with other people's any rank. And then your score with other people's score. So it takes all that information, right, and then calls the Nakama API and writes the score out here and here. And that, I think, is working. Pretty sure it's working. Let me see. Where did I put that thing? There it is. So it's a Docker. The development works as a Docker container. And they have instructions for running this. But you run the Docker container. Yeah, it's running, right? And then as I go through, so it created all the leaderboards, does all this stuff, right? And then as you play, it submits the scores. So I'm going to play a couple of levels just to get some scores in there. And then we can start the next part of the code, which is reading the scores back out again. So first I get an S. It's going to be a very slow S. And then let's get an F. Let's get a no rank. Now let's get a, B. Let's get a B. Oh wait, I'm going on to the next level. This is the new alarm sound. Let's try that again. Let's get a B. So to get a B, I just need to kill myself. And then finish the level. Alright. Yeah, that's fine. So I should actually have 3 scores for that first level. So I've got a submit score. There it is, get leaderboard. So get leaderboard should return the scores for any given leaderboard. So if I say in the login function here, scores equal, and then the leaderboard would be S1-1. Yeah, I think that's it. S1-1-score. And then S1-1-no rank. Let's just do this. And then we'll print this one. And is that one right? SNR and rank and score. Oh. Time. Okay. Time. All right, so what'll happen here is when I run this, this game over, or no, this server is a singleton. So when it's ready, it's gonna build the client, log in. When the login is completed with Nakama, so it creates a Nakama client, right? Stores it here. And then the login uses the Nakama client to authenticate the device. And when that's completed, it yields. And then when that's completed, it comes back through here and it'll print out these leaderboards. And we should see the output here. It's not what I expected to see. It is sending the requests, that's right. So it sent the authentication request. It sent the get request to the leaderboard, S11 score, S11 time NR, S11 time S, S11 time rank. And it's printing this. I don't know what this is. Strange. Let me take those out and see what it prints. No. Yes. No. Yes. Let's do this. Let's put a breakpoint here, and then when I run it, I can actually just step through it and see what it's doing. So it gets that score, and in the score variable, I'm getting an object back. Just strange. GDScript function state. Oh, because it's yielding. Because it's yielding, that's why. So, interesting. I gotta look up that documentation. I'm doing this wrong, basically. Basically. Hey, John. Stop doing it wrong. Start doing it right. Uh-huh. The completed signal will be emitted automatically when the function returns. So that's what's happening here. Yield on this function, and then waiting for completed to come back. How is the Nakama people using this? Leaderboards, submit a score, list records, list by score. Huh. Do I need to yield back? I don't like this asynchronous stuff. Calling yield immediately returns with the current frozen state of the same function as the return value. Calling resume will continue execution to return whatever the function returns. Can I just do then this? Knowing it returns a yield. Oh. Like that? Let's see what that does. Huh. Interesting. Now there's an error. Is exception is not a function. Is it not? All right, let's try this a little simpler. Let's try this. And then let's just try this. And break there. Let's turn that off. Okay. Got nothing. Nothing. Ah, here's a return value. Yeah, there it is. So that's in rank 1, score 6316 in what leaderboard? S1 time S. And in NR, it's returning. Yep. And in score. Yep. So it just wasn't returning. That's 3 scores, right? Yeah. Let me turn that off. Leaderboard ID. See what we get. So in the score leaderboard, got that. No rank, got that. S, got that. It didn't post anything to the any rank board, but it should have. I got a B. S11 time rank, S11 time rank. Do I have a time rank? I do have one. Let me try getting that no rank or that any rank score again. And then let me break here and make sure it's doing it. Come on. Dead. And now when I drag this out, I should get a B, which should trigger my breakpoint. There it is. All right, leaderboard ID is S11 time rank. Let's go back here. Put another break there. Yeah, so it made it. And it should have printed that out. New record on S11 time rank for username blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay, and then if I restart, I should be able to see that score in the printout. There it is. Maybe I just imagined that I got a B. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. It's probably... I probably... It seems to be working now. All right. So that's cool. That submits and it's working. This returns values. I want to return this. How do I get the value, the return value for a method that's got a yield in it? This just shows printing it out, so that's not going to help me. All right, this yields. So this gets the function state of that yield. and then you call yield.resume. Which returns execution right here. And then it returns cheers, which is printed out right here. So if score is function state, then print score.resume. That should work. I think that should work. What does yield return? What does the yield function return? It should return this when it resumes. But it's not, because result is what? Result is null. Do I need to do that? Coroutines, man. Do I have to use yield? Probably. That's for sure not going to work. Oh, did I? Good lord. Doing the wrong one. Yeah, that doesn't work. And that doesn't work. I guess I could put it into like, oh god, there must be a better way to do this. Okay, so here's a function that yields. This function calls it. Okay, I was so close. You yield back. Wow. No error that time. There we go. All right, so that's the pattern. If I'm calling a function that yields, but I'm not sure it yields, I am actually sure this one yields. But if you weren't sure, you would say this, and then yield back, and wait for it to complete, and then get the score, and then print it. So what'll happen is I'll see this, and then this. So I'll see it break here, then it'll break here, then it'll break here, and then here. Right, there's the first one. Second one. Right, gets the return value. Fourth one. And prints the score. All right. So now I could probably yeah, I'll just do that. Right, and then I can do whatever I want to do with the score in here. So that's how I'll get my leaderboards. And then then do something with those score values. Okay. Good old game over screen. Let's add a button. Let's call it results, and we'll label it leaderboards. Yeah, that's fine. And then we'll add another thing here called leaderboard. No, called control. But we'll rename it leaderboard. And in there we'll put a panel. And this panel will just cover the whole screen. Thusly. Did I not theme the panels? Thought I did. Sure did. I guess I just themed them gray? No? Oh, I know why. No? Does this one have a theme? Yeah. This has the theme. Yeah. It's probably not picking up the theme from this control because this is a different canvas layer. So I have to set the theme here, and then this theme will apply to all the controls inside of it. Which makes sense if you think of canvas layers as having their own viewport and everything. But it is kind of tricky to remember. Hey Albert, how you doing? Alright, so then I want to take my button and I'm just going to connect it to pressed. Yep. And I'll say leaderboard show. And I need a leaderboard hide up here when the game, when the game over screen first appears. I want to make sure I hide the leaderboard. So it'll come in like that. And then when you click that button, it'll make that appear. So I can test that by just running my scene. It did not work. Hide. Hide. Here we go. So the other thing is I obviously want my leaderboard button to hide until all the buttons appear. Yeah. HBox container. Am I using that anywhere? I'm not. So I can rename this to button strip. And I think I'm hiding all of my controls / button. No? Button continue. Ah, that's what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, okay. Hide, 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 hide. Oh, fancy. Thanks, Albert. Yeah, apparently I made affiliate at some point. I wasn't paying attention. And so I completed the, you have to do this whole form. There's like a bunch of stuff to claim it. Anyway, I finally just finished it. So I think there's like stuff people can do now, but I don't know. I guess this is one of them. And I do appreciate it. I really do. I'm new to Twitch. I mean, I've been doing it for a while, but I really, as a streamer, I barely understand what's going on. I'll get it. You guys can help me out. Thank you. I do appreciate it very much. It's a nice feeling. What was I doing? Oh yeah, buttons. Godot UI stuff. And now I'm show, right? I don't think I'm doing anything else with buttons to hide them or show them. I used to be. But I've changed this game over UI quite a bit, and over time I just decided hide all the buttons or show all the buttons. So what I can do instead is just say button strip. Use this pattern. Button strip hide. That. Button, and I button strip. Show. And that should make the leaderboard button hide as well. Right, no buttons. And then all the buttons. And my leaderboard. Alright. Perfecto. All right, and then in the leaderboard, I have this panel, but I think I probably don't want this panel. I think what I probably want is something more like, well, let's not work on visual polish right off the bat. Let's just try and put a leaderboard on the screen here. So, what would a leaderboard be? It would be a grid, right? A grid container, and I'm thinking it's going to have 3 columns with the rank, the name, and the score, right? And then I need to server, right? I'm submitting a score, but I want to wait until this is actually done. And my submit score function yields. It yields twice, in fact. In fact, it yields twice. So if I call it with that other pattern I was using, then I will call it, check the return value. This will return a GD script func, whatever it was. I'll yield back. It'll return another one. I'll yield back, and then it'll return true when it's done. And I don't want to pass in a leaderboard ID. I don't want to have to make these. I want to do it like I did here, where I just pass in the string to the level and the thing figures it out. So I'm going to change this to level string. And I need to change... Yeah, I need to take these things. Right. And I want to do something like get leaderboard ID. From level. I'm still going to need to, well, I'm still going to need to put in these. That's fine. Leaderboard ID base, how about that? So let's create a function for that. So that pattern I just used, or that I'm doing right now, is what I do is I create the API first, the way I want to call it. And I think about, here's how I want to call this function. Here's the name of it. Here's the parameters I want to pass to it. I know in my mind what I want it to give me back, right? Here's what I want it to give me back. I'm going to have to change this a little bit. But I know what I want it to give me back. Right. And then I write the method to do the thing that I want it to do. And in this case, it's returning campaign ID and level number. Return a base leaderboard ID from a Hey, Verbal. Has the early access release helped your game out? Yeah, it has. It has helped my game out. It's helped my game out, but I think more importantly, it's helped my mental state out. There's the dog. If you guys don't know, there's a dog. He lives right back there over the wall with my neighbors. And he loses his shit daily. Sweet dog. Little dachshund. He'll be barking like that for hours, though. Yeah, so it's helped the game in a couple of ways. One, I'd been testing it, right? Quite frequently myself, but also with a small group of friends, okay? But this group of friends, just like myself, you know, they would start to play it in a particular way, start doing certain patterns over and over again. I have one friend who speed runs it all the time, and they would kind of, you know, no fault of theirs. I do the same thing when I test their games. You kind of get into a pattern, and you kind of redo the same things, and you're not coming at it after a while. You're not a beginner at it anymore, right? So you need to find new, fresh players to come at it with fresh eyes, fresh hands, as a beginner to uncover new problems, right? So that's been great. Right out the gate, they found a bunch of bugs, and those were fantastic to find, and I loved it. The other thing it's helping with is that people are actually buying it. So it's proving that it's, to me, that it's something people want. which is nice. It's nice to get proof that something you're spending so much time on is worthwhile. And that's motivating to continue working on it. And then that flows into my my mental area here. You're working on something, it can be a slog, and for me, without a due date, I would just keep tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it forever, right? And just never finish. So one thing that this really helped with was just setting a date for early access and just putting it out there. And I set the date and I told everybody what the date was, and I had to make the date. And I did. I made the date. So the game is further along now than it would have been had I not done it. And all that together is all good, right? It just helps me finish the game. It helps me move the game forward. It gives me motivation to continue working on the game. And financially, it helps as well. So, yeah, early access has been net positive. In fact, I can't think of anything bad about it, really. It's been great. But, as I told people before I did early access, it's not really like, it's kind of a milestone, but it's not really like, hey, look, I'm in early access now. Now I can relax or whatever. Or it's like your birthday, You're 21 or whatever, and you turn 22. Nothing really changes. You just keep doing the same thing you were doing yesterday. You're just a little older. You're a day older than you were. But we call it a birthday. We make a big deal out of it. But nothing really happens. You still got to keep doing the thing, right? So I'm still working towards that full release, 6 to 12 months. And that will be a major milestone, I think. Because at that point, I could say, I'm done, put it on the shelf, whatever, right? That probably won't be the way it goes. I'll probably put out patches, and depending on how popular it is, may do some updates. We'll see. But theoretically, it's done at that point. Hey, Slacks. You're working on making Hive API? I don't know what that means. What's Hive API? I'm probably just blanking out, but what is that? All right, so this returns campaign ID and level number, right? And so then this becomes base, leaderboard base, like that. Well, let's leave those. This just simplifies this. That should all work the same. But then up here where I needed it, and here I can say leaderboard ID. And I can say base. This is kind of cumbersome. Equals. Maybe I want this to return all the leaderboards. Leaderboards. Maybe. Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. So if a player lost their card to another player, they could actually see who has their card now. Maybe they could track down that player and play them and try to get their card back. What kind of gameplay would you get out of that? Hey Slacks. So yeah, I'm working on Nakama right now. I'm trying to get leaderboard data out. We went through. I confirmed that I'm saving the leaderboard data correctly, and now I'm trying to write an API for getting the leaderboards back out. And I thought I would do them one at a time, but I think I'm actually going to return an array of different leaderboards and just get all of them in one go. Because I don't want to have to deal with all this stuff outside of this API. Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. That's a neat idea, though. I like the blockchain idea. What's an NFT? Is it some kind of transaction? I'm not an expert on the Bitcoin blockchain stuff. I know of it, but I own no Bitcoins or Dogecoins or Ethereum. Non-fungible token. Right. I know what fungible means. Each one is unique, yeah. As opposed to dollar bills, which are, well, theoretically they're unique, but really they're kind of interchangeable. $1 bill's as good as any other. All right, so let's see. If I do get leaderboards, then what I'll end up doing, let's do this. Let's say that was a dictionary. And let's put it right here. And then let's say I want to go through equals score, like that, and I want a this, and I want a time an R, and I want a time rank. This is all going to change. So my philosophy here with coding is, you know, like I said, I created the API. I create the API first, then I write the function because I know how I'm going to use it. I like to make sure it's a thing that I want to use, or I can use it in the way I want to use it. Then I make it do the thing that I want it to do. And then the other pattern I use when I'm coding is I just try and get something working. And then once it's working, then I make it pretty. Oh, that's interesting. Sort of like running your own server or something. If you get into betting and sort of gambling with these cards, does that run you into any trouble with the government? So I've got this array of leaderboards now, and then I can loop through those for leaderboard in leaderboards. And that I can do this. Valid? No. No, that's not valid because it's already defined. What's the syntax for this? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You start getting in a gambling gray area, and then who knows what happens, right? Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Huh. Okay, that's cool. So I would have to do leaderboard ID as string. I don't need this, but okay, yeah, that seems to work. So this will say retval leaderboard ID equals array. And I'll do retval leaderboard ID dot append. Yeah. So I'll call get leaderboards, and it'll loop through all the leaderboards for this level, and then build a dictionary where the key is the leaderboard ID. Key is this part of the leaderboard. I don't need this. I don't need it here. These are the 4 leaderboards per level. And then leaderboard ID equals this will be leaderboard base ID and leaderboard ID. Here we go. So it'll loop through these and then create a new variable with the actual ID, which is a combination of the base ID, which is that S1-1, and then this ID. It's not really, well, I guess it's a ID. It's a key. I'm going to call it a board. From my leaderboards array, each one's a board. And then it gets the score for that leaderboard ID, gets all the scores, and appends them to an array with board as the key. So I'll end up with an array of, or a dictionary of, like this, score, and then an array of scores, and time s, an array of scores, right? All of that. And those array of scores, each one is another dictionary. that, right? It's one of these. And each one of those will have username, blah, 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 score, blah, 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 rank, blah, 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 like that. So that's the data structure this method will return. So I want all this return not to be that, but to return a dictionary, which means this has to return an empty dictionary, empty dictionary, empty dictionary. Right? So if the function bombs for any reason, it's going to return a dictionary, but it'll be an empty one. Yeah. And I have an error. And let's remove this because I don't need this, but I'm going to copy the pattern. All right, so then in my game over, oh shoot. Before I can do this, I need to make sure this is done. So submit score. Submit score yields, and it yields again. Right. So here I need to say result equals, and then if result is gscript function state, then equals yield result completed. Yeah, so this will submit the scores and then wait and wait and wait. I mean, so far, it's typical of your APIs. How easy is Nakama to work with? It's typical of these types of things. I don't know if you've ever worked with a third-party API before, but you know, there's documentation, and then there's how it really works. And the Nakama documentation is great. It comes with a library that so far I haven't found any bugs in. But little things like this, right, where all these functions return a coroutine, means working with it is a little bit of a learning curve for me. And then you have to make some hard decisions too, like everybody needs to be able to log in. So what I did for now is just log the user in with their device ID, which is this. And this isn't a problem with Nakama so much, but it will affect this implementation if, for example, two different clients return the same unique ID, or if the unique ID is empty for some reason. There's little issues, right? Mostly it's great though. Setting it up was pretty easy. It comes in a Docker container. They have pretty good installation instructions. Getting it up and running on your local dev machine is pretty simple. I have experience running servers, and I have a small fleet of servers out at Linode, and I'm going to throw this on one of those at some point. So I don't anticipate that being any trouble either. There's all the security stuff you have to go through, which is kind of a hassle, but yeah, I mean, Nakama itself, pretty simple. API is pretty clear. The documentation is very good. It comes with a library that works with Godot and Unity and Unreal and whatever. So that's nice. I'm hedging a little bit my bets on this whole thing because instead of like I could be calling Nakama functions right in my code, right in my game over scene. I could be calling Nakama, but instead I created this wrapper called game server. And the reason I did that is because, you know, what if 6 months from now Nakama goes out of business and they don't provide any more updates and the game becomes popular and I need to have some new solution for leaderboards or whatever. It would be a pain to go through all my different scenes and modify everything. So I'm wrapping everything in this game server script so that I can change the implementation from Nakama to something else and only have to change the functions in here. All the rest of my code is just going to call it that. And the guts is the Nakama stuff, which I can swap out for some other API if I needed to. So this should yield. I need to look up the syntax to understand exactly what it's doing. Yield. That's not what I wanted. We'll listen to that dog while I read this. I guarantee if I walked out there, there's nobody out there. There's nobody on the street. He's just barking just to bark. Loves to hear his own voice. So yield takes an object and a signal. Sneeze coming on. Oh. What object is it being? I'll bet you this. This must do a yield as well. This is getting into the this is the library for Nakama. It's written in GD script. Okay. So this client async list leaderboard records calls the API client, which is, I'm guessing, this guy. This guy returns an object, but it also yields. So this yields which calls this. Which calls this. Which yields. It just yields all the way down. Coroutines forever. Okay. So ultimately, this waits until all these yields are done, they're completed. And when it's done, it returns one of these guys. I wonder if that'll work in a loop. Because it's going to yield and then yield back. I don't know how this is going to work. It should keep, because it'll yield, and then I'll yield back, and it'll finish, and then loop and yield again. So it'll return 4 yields, and then it'll return this. I think this might work. When yielding on a function, the completed signal will be emitted automatically when the function returns. It can therefore be used as the signal parameter of the yield method to resume. I'm trying to think if I could connect this to this signal. I could do something like, I think, result.connect completed self score submitted. Right? So I'll save the score and then continue on with the rest of the UI. And when that score is actually saved, this should complete and it'll call this method. And that method will say score submitted. And that's the method where I'll actually then retrieve the leaderboards. Yeah, let's see if that works. Am I not submitting? This might not work with my test scene. No, it should work. Let's see what happens. Gets to there. I'm going to step inside of that. What is that? F11. No session. Why not? Why is there no session? There's no session because there hasn't been enough time yet. Right? Because the first thing this singleton does is it tries to log in. It creates the client immediately. And then it tries to log in. But it hasn't finished logging in yet when I go to submit the score. So I can't properly test this unless I actually play through a level. Networking, man. You got to deal with latency issues. Things just take longer. So you have to actually do the thing to make the delay. So right now, because I've been playing the game, right, that login should have happened. So when I get to this game over screen, you should see F11. Right, I have a session this time. Turn off the breakpoint. Here we go, saving the rank. Not enough arguments. Oh. And then it should have printed out score submitted. All right, so that worked. So this submits the score. It yields immediately and returns this GDScript function state. I check if the result is a GDScript function state, then connect its completed signal to myself to this method. So then when this is actually done, it's going to send a complete signal, completed signal, which will trigger this method from getting to get called, which will print that out, and it did. All right, so then I can be sure at this point, if I say scores equals game server dot get leaderboards, and what the level, current level, and then if scores script function state yield then I can print the scores. And I'm going to have to test all of this stuff with the Nakama server down as well, because I want people to still be able to play even if the score server is offline. New record. But it didn't get to here. What is this? Okay, so my signal completed method takes an argument. So this should have some kind of argument. I don't know what the argument is. This will tell us what the argument is, and then I can rename it. Maybe. Will I buffer the scores? I don't know. I think another philosophy I have about programming is that you should program for the 90% case, right? So the server should be up all the time. So I'm going to code for that. In the rare cases where it's down, I'm going to handle it, but I'm not going to do anything heroic, I don't think, because it's going to be up. It's going to be up all the time. If it's not up, there's a bigger problem. So I don't think I will buffer them. I think any downtime will be short. And so it's not worth the effort. Do I spend the effort buffering scores and doing all this stuff, anticipating that the server will be down a lot? Or do I just spend that time making the server more reliable so it's never down? I think the second way is better, so that's probably how I'm going to go. All right, so pass in an arg, which is a Boolean. But then it does this. And I should get... Interesting. It's not what I expected. GDScript function state. Let's look that up and see what its completed signal sends to us. Result. It sends a result. Let's just call it result. Excuse me. I gotta come up with a faster way to test this. I'm not seeing the prints I want to see. Let me see if I can figure out a faster way to test this. Maybe I can say if if I'm running in the editor, then wait for the login to finish. Otherwise, log in asynchronously. Let's see. So now when I run this scene directly, it should not give me any guff. Yeah, see, the authorization worked. But it didn't submit the score? Didn't submit the score. Never got here. Still says session is null. Is it because of this? It thinks it's not running in the editor? Oh, no. This is if it's a tool. I need to check. What do you call it? A property override. Setting override. I can never remember the name of this. Godot environment variables. OS. There's a way you can tell if you're running in the editor or not, and I can never remember. I swear, I'm gonna write this down one of these days. No, it's not the SCON stuff. tags. No. Environment variables. I swear I was just looking at this. Keep sending me back here. Is editor, engine is editor, tells you if your script is a tool script, if it's running literally within the editor. But there's another variable that tells you if you are running your project from an editor build instead of the release build. Yeah, I run across it. I need it every once in a while, and I look it up, and I can't find it, and then I find it, and then I use it, and then I forget about it, and then I have to go and look for it again later. Feature tags. Feature tags. That's what they're called. Ugh. OS has feature. OS has feature editor. Running on an editor build. OS has feature editor. If OS has feature editor. Good Lord. So I'm running from the editor, so now it should say true. Yes, so now it'll log in. Then it'll do this nonsense. And it still didn't get here. Man. Oops. OS has feature editor. So it's gonna yield. Perfect. And I'm just gonna do all this stuff. Oh, it didn't connect. Why not? What is result? It failed anyway. I'm trying to come up with a faster way to do this, and it's just slowing me down. It still says I'm not signed in. Waiting for that login to come back. Yeah, it didn't. It's not waiting there like I expected it to. But this should wait until this is done. Screw it. Has feature tags. Remember feature tags. I'm gonna write it down. Feature tags. OS has feature editor. It's handy if you can remember what it's called. All right, now it should break. Here we go. Still not returning the results I expected. Is it not getting here? Let's do that again. Oops. It's just never getting here. Maybe I had everything right and this is just wrong. Maybe it's just not logging in. Well, oh shoot. I deleted my my thing, but it looks like this is the login right here. And it returned an ID. I got my session. I'm logged in. Let's see what the game over does. Client's fine. Session's fine. All right, it's going to submit all those high scores. So it sent the first one. And then result is definitely an object. So it's going to go in here and connect that signal. And then it's going to carry on its merry way. And the signal never completes. The signal never completes. This was working, was it not? We saw it print. Unauthorized. Submitted the score, but then it tried submitting the time S. It's request 3, and request 3 return invalid, and then request 4. Got auth token invalid for that as well. Sent request 1 to authenticate, then request 2 to score, then time S, then score again. Tricky, 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 tricky. Well, how was everybody's Thanksgiving? We had turkey, and then we had more turkey the next day. Let's just walk through this. Alright, do it again. So all I've got so far right here is just the post to get the user session. I'll clear that. Okay, then when I get out of here, so I hit the first breakpoint, right? It goes into submit the score. Client and session are good. And bam, tries doing that. And then, so that's the first submission to here. And then tries to submit one to the S rank board. Right. And that's the second request here, ID 3. Right. And it didn't complete yet. (401) auth token invalid. Auth token invalid. I wonder why that is. How long do these Nakama session auth tokens last? So you asked how integrating Nakama is. You know, it's about what you'd expect. Session, I mean, the documentation's great, but you know, you got to deal with stuff like this. I've never met an API that didn't have issues like this. I'm looking for token expiry sec. Token expiry sec. The default value is 60 seconds. Okay. Okay. Check ports, blah, blah, blah. Database, blah, blah. Where do I put this? That's the cockroach stuff. Nakama Docker Compose. Do I not have a config YAML in here? I don't. Am I doing that? I am. I can just do it this way. Okay, let's just do it that way. Okay, so this will be, oh man, that dog. losing his shit. How long is a play session? Let's say it's 1800 seconds. Let's say it's an hour. What I need to do though too, I should put in some retry logic in here. Yeah, I should put in some retry in here. Let's log in. This is incorrect. This pattern's terrible. Like I said, I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to rewrite it. I just need to get it working. So it'll be something like this. It'll be like, well, let's just leave this out for now. But it would be something like this where I say, like, try to get a session, try to get a client. I'm probably going to take all this code and just put it into a new function. And what it'll do is try to get the client, and if it can't, then try again and try to get a session. If it can't, try a few times. And then if you still can't, then give up. So all this code that I'm trying to write here would be encapsulated into some kind of function call. But I'll leave it out for now. All right, so that should take care of the 401s. Those 401 is an HTTP error. That means unauthorized. And that's because the token, the session token I was getting after the authentication was expiring after 60 seconds. And I was just hitting that threshold right as I hit the game over scene. Bap, 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 bap. Okay, there's my no 401s. Oh, I need to rerun the Docker container though. I didn't rerun the Docker container. So the fact that I didn't get any 401s was just luck. let's rerun it. Doesn't say anything about how it was run, does it? That's fine. Let's just trust it. Let's just assume it worked. Oops. So I should see a bunch of output here. Yeah, tried to get the leaderboards, right? Yeah, so this is working. So it sent a post to update the score and the time no rank. Completed them both. Then it tried to get the S11 score, S11 time S, S11 time NR, and S11 time rank. And I think it's not doing this. Hey, what's up? Yeah. 5-10 minutes? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't look like it.
I will.
What else? Either like now or in 2 hours. Because I have.
So I think what's happening here is I get the result of the yield in here, and it connects that to completed. It connects its completed to score submitted. But then it never yields back. It must have. Because it submitted both scores. Right, there's the login. There's the first score submitted, there's the second score submitted. But then it never gets to here. Let's see if it gets to here. So complicated. And then, let's hope this works. I'm just gonna bounce through here real quick. Score submitted. It did get there. So this works. This works. My bug is not here. It got here, but it never got here. And I think, let's try this. Score submitted real. And here I'll say, if, and then I'll do connect data to self score submitted real. Just hacking away, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And what is result? No. Fine. That's fine, it's just a warning. Let's do one more. So I was hoping I'd show actually putting this up on the leaderboard. Maybe what I'll do is I'll keep streaming tonight or tomorrow, maybe tonight, and I'll work on the UI for this stuff. Of actually showing the leaderboards, but if I can get the data at least. This is going to be a, yeah, GT script function state again. That makes sense. That's not what I expected it to be. But it's getting there. Prints really, really. It does it after it tries to get the score, and then it tries to get the time score, and then it tries to get the other ones. So I'm not getting it completed when it's fully done. So I was right. The loop, it's returning the complete from the first yield. Right? If it's looping through these 4 leaderboards and yielding each one, then I get the return from the first yield and connect it. That's the return from the first yield, and I connect it. And then when that first yield is complete, then it calls this. But then it's going to yield again. So this either needs to be synchronous, or I need to be a little bit more clever about how I'm getting the return values back. This would work if there was only one leaderboard, but I have 4. So I could either turn this into 4 different calls, or I could do something magical with this nonsense. And I think I want to do something magical with this nonsense, just to make this easier to deal with. And so this maybe needs to be a loop as well. Maybe this would be a while and a resume, something like that. Anyway, more work that needs to be done for sure. I am going to, I think, call it for right now. Thanks everybody for stopping in. It's been great having you. I will probably stream again Tuesday, although I said that last Saturday and I didn't this Tuesday. We'll see. But maybe I'll stream again tonight or tomorrow. So thanks for subscribing and following. You'll get a notification, obviously, if I stream again this weekend. Thanks for dropping by, everybody. Tell everybody you know about Gravity Ace. Wishlisted on Steam. Go follow me on HIO or follow me on Twitter. And until next time, I'll see you guys around. Thanks for dropping in, everybody.